Hi everyone, my name is Priya. Thank you again for joining us today. In today's webinar, we will be educating you on the GMP requirements for South Korea. So it's more of the learning. There has not been any changes. For those of you who may not be familiar with Regdesk, we are a holistic RIM solution with built-in regulatory intelligence and AI capability that allows RA teams to prepare, manage, and publish global technical files within hours. You can obtain daily updates on regulatory changes. You can collaborate with distributors directly through the system, track registrations, manage standards, including gap assessments, and also your change assessment workflows. If you'd like to learn more or have specific questions related to your business needs, we'd be more than happy to schedule a call to discuss further. Before we begin our discussion this morning, I'd like to turn our attention to our attendees. Thank you for joining us. At the end of this meeting, we will hold a brief Q&A. We encourage your participation, so please refer to the chat button on your screen. In the interest of time, please submit your questions throughout the course of our talk, and we will try to address as many of your questions as we can. In case we run out of time, please email us your questions and we will try to address them via email. Also, we'd love to get your feedback on today's webinar and also ideas for future webinar topics as well. So if you have any ideas, please do reach out to us. With me today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to a regulatory consultant from Seoul, South Korea, Stephen Jeong. Stephen has led many large international medtech companies with their product registrations and GMP inspections in South Korea. And so I will hand this over to Stephen. Thank you so much, Stephen, for sharing with us. I know you have a PowerPoint that you will share with everyone, and just so everyone is aware, we will share and we will email you the PowerPoint presentation within the next couple days.
Thank you, Priya, for introducing myself. And hi, everyone. My name is Stephen Jeong. I'm working on regulatory affairs and also quality assurance. And also I am working as a consultant in the Regdesk. So today I'm gonna show you and talk about the GMP requirement. So just give me a second for sharing my screen. Okay, so maybe you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So today I'm gonna cover here the overview of the GMP requirements. I am not sure you may know about, heard about before about the GMP, Korea kgmp, but it is the specific Korea, the QMS certifications, and it is essential to register the medical device in Korea. So let me go to the next slide. This is contents that I have going to cover today about Korea. Just simply, I'd like to introduce all of you if you may don't know about the Korea. So Korea and the Korea GMP, also the key definitions that commonly lead to the misunderstanding for the foreign manufacturers. So I'm gonna highlight the terminology, and also I'm gonna cover the application process and audit type and auditors, and what notified body are involved to give the certificate to the manufacturers. And after that, I'm gonna cover quickly about the GMP requirements, and including what are the required documents for submissions. And at the end of this meeting, I'm gonna give you the key takeaways in the webinars. And after that, we're gonna have the Q&A sessions. Okay, so about Korea, maybe you can see here the globe here. So the Korea is located between the China's and the Japan. So we are located in the East Asia, and yeah, you can see the location, Korea. Where is it? And I was a little bit surprised of when I prepared this slide deck. You can see the data. The Korea market volume is quite big, quite large, and you can see the market length in the world, the 8th biggest market in the world. So it would be the big opportunity for the manufacturer if they planning to market their product to the Korea. And also the market growth was 8.1% yearly. We grow the market. And you can see also here the Korea Health Authority, which is the MFDS, Ministry of the Food and Drugs and Safety. They regulate the medical devices and the drugs, also the in vitro devices as well. And after that, you can see the international organization in Korea is member of the IMDRF, also the GHWP. Maybe you are familiar with the cybersecurity requirements. Recently, in the Korea government, Korea Health Authority, they take over the reading of the cybersecurity, the guidance. So if you see the MFTS document that has been already released, that was prepared almost by the Korea Health Authority. And also the Korea, we used as a official language, we use only the Korean. So if you are prepare any submission for Korea, the most of the documents should be in Korean, but sometimes the supporting documents can be in English, but mainly, the application form and main technical file or the submission file should be in Korean. Also, the applicant should be submit any summary of the submission file in Korean. So that is one of the difficulty for the manufacturers. So what is the Korea GMP? As I explained before, the Korea GMP, kgmp so-called, which is the Korea specific QMS certification. It is an independent certification. So for local and foreign manufacturers. So if you want to the market and the free market approval for Korea, you need to get the certification of the GMP. And kgmp is required for the class 2 to 4 medical devices. And basically, Korea, we classify the medical devices from class 1 to 4. So that's why, excepting for the class 1 medical devices, the others require the GMP certification before the pre-market approval. And the meanings of the GMP certification, it is the little bit the important for regulatory approval, because GMP certification is, if we don't have the GMP certification, we cannot the product released in local warehouse after importation in Korea to Korea. And also, if the certification has already expired, of course, we can import the medical device in Korea, but we cannot release from the local warehouse to the distributor. Korea GMP certification is granted sets by sets, of which consist of legal manufacturers, physical manufacturer, GMP product category, and importer. So this is the combinations, the concept. So every combinations, every set should be certified and should be audited each by each. And also you can see the GMP, the product categories are notified as regulations. So which are kinds of the groups of the medical device classification. So also, which means that the scope of the manufacturing. And also it's same as the ISO 13485 certifications. Also, the KGMP certification require renewal every 3 years. So if you have any GMP certification, or if you are planning to get a certification, you need to think about and consider the renewal process every 3 years. Okay, so key definitions. I'm borrowed here the terminology: legal manufacturer, the physical manufacturer, and the critical the core process. I'm gonna skip the legal manufacturer terminology because it is the simple and it is not leads to any misunderstanding. But important, I'd like to highlight the concept of the manufacturer, so-called physical manufacturer. It is kind of a little bit different than we have than the foreign manufacturer understand, because the Korea GMP certification is granted to the actual the plant, actual the facility, the address, not the manufacturer office. So, for example, if you have the office and another site for the facility, a manufacturing facility, then even though the office is the bigger the entity address, you need to get the certification with the address of the the manufacturing facility. So it is the main difference and main misunderstanding they happen from the foreign manufacturers. So and also how can we define, how can we know which the facilities is considered as a physical manufacturer. You can see here the physical manufacturer should has been consigned the entire or core manufacturing process of the product from legal manufacturer. So if you have even if you have the manufacturing facility, but in the facility any core the manufacturing process are not the conducted in there, that can be not the physical manufacturer. So we need to look through the every manufacturing process floor, and we need to define the where from where the core manufacturing process are conducted. So so if you are planning for submission for the GMP certification, you need to think about the physical manufacturers, the definition. Okay, next, so application process. As I mentioned before, the QMS conformity, GMP certification, it is considered as it is essential as part of the pre-market approval. So QMS and the business license, and also sometimes if applicable, the clinical trial and the marketing authorizations come together and we can get the pre-market approval and get the product import license. This is the flow chart for application. So you can see the 3 bodies are involved in the application process. You can see applicants and a notified body. Also, you can see MFDS regional office. So most of the process are handled by notified body. So if you apply for the GMP submission, GMP certification application, and also the notified body, they acceptance review, and they received. And for the medical device class 3 and the 4 medical devices, they collaborate with MFDS regional office to the plan for the audit plan, the schedule, and the set up the audit team. And after that, they do audit. And sometimes for medical device class 3 and 4 medical devices, or the initial audit, it requires the MFDS, the regional office audit as well. So after that, there are the opportunity to address the deficiency. So if you got first deficiency letter, and then we can submit responses of the deficiency, and after that we can also get a second deficiency from the notified body. And after that, we will have the last chance to respond to the for addressing the deficiency. After that, if we every deficiency are declared, of course we can get a GMP certificate. Otherwise, the application will be concluded as the non-conformity, unfortunately. Audit type and auditors. And there are 4 audit types you can see here. Initial audit, additional audit, change audit, renewal audit. The initial audit and renewal audit are simple. So initial audit is for first time if you have no experience to get a GMP, that is considered as the initial audit. And renewal audit also, it requires every 3 years, as I mentioned before. But in terms of additional audit, I told you the kgmp is granted sets by sets. So if you want to adding any medical device, the GMP product categories, you need to apply for additional application of the additional audit of additional and the application for additional audit. And also there is another audit type here, the change audit. Change audit is only applicable for in case of the change of the location of manufacturing establishment. So when it comes to life cycle management of the GMP certification, you need to think about the additional audit and change audit and renewal audit, 3 types of audit. Depending on the audit type and the classification of the medical devices, it is different which the bodies are involved for the audit and which type of the audit will be conducted. So for example, if you see the first column, the second column for the initial audit, class 2 medical devices, a notified body only involved, and desk and the on-site audit are required. And you can see for all medical classifications, the desk and the on-site audit are required for the initial audit. But if you see the additional audit, which is require only desk audit, so it means that it does not require any on-site inspection. We just submit the documentation to the notified body, and they just review, and we can add the GMP product categories. And also, of course, the change audit, because the locations is gonna be changed to another site. So in this case is the desk audit and on-site audits are required. And also for medical class 3 and 4 medical devices, notified body and the medical device and the MFDS regional office are involved together for the on-site audit. So you can also refer to the linear audit as well for the last column. here are the table, a list of the notified body for GMP certification. It is totally different that you are aware of the notified body, such as the TUB shoot or the BSI, something like they do for the ISO certification. So if you would like to get a KGMP, you need to reach out to the notified body. Okay, so GMP requirements here. I'm not gonna say here the detail of the requirements, but I'd like to highlight the Korea GMP requirements are almost adopted from the ISO standard. But there is some exceptional sections. You can see the 4.2.5 and 7.4.9.2. Only two sections are has deviations, but the other sections are the identical. So if you have already the ISO certification, you don't need to care much about the Korea GMP requirements. So also in the GMP submission file, which includes the information from legal manufacturer and physical manufacturer. So if you are when you prepare the GMP the submission file, you should collect all information from the legal and physical manufacturers. And also all submission file requires quality representative signatures from legal manufacturers. So every document, every information should be signed by the quality representative. And one of the importance for the GMP audit, you can see that the last item, regulatory information from the product license will be referred to see if there is any discrepancy with the submission file. So if the notified body and auditors they find any discrepancy from the product license, they will issue the deficiency, of course, and then we need to take actions for the license variation, which takes so much time for license variation. So before we going through the GMP submissions, we need to check out the license information, regulatory information, and we need to align with the GMP submission file and the license information, which is very important for the GMP audit. Oh, here is the differences between GMP and ISO, the standard that I mentioned before. You can see control of the record. You can see the sections. I highlighted the sentence only the difference. You can see here, the Korea government they specify the specific period at least 5 years. You need to keep the record at least 5 years. And then you can see the 7.4.5.9.2, the sections, which is the applicable for the implantable medical devices. But the Korea Health Authority, they changed this section, the title to the medical devices subject to tracking. The medical devices subject to trackings are regulated and notified as a regulation. So if any the subject medical devices are applicable for the tracking, we need to follow this section, even though the medical devices are not implantable medical devices, which is the main difference between those. Yeah, here is a list of required documents here. So the application form, license, which is license, and checklist. Also GMP submission file here. And so list of the required document in the submission file from A to the S items. There are a lot of the items that are required for the GMP submissions. So you can see the overview of the manufacturer. Okay, you can see the EMR quality manual. So many the required documents. So if you have time after this webinar, you can just go just to look through the all this here. But I'm not gonna cover all the item this section. For the recent update here, usability 7.3.3, which is the design input sections. In Korea, we adopted the ISO standard already, but they present the different timeline for implementing the usability requirements. So recently, since the July 2022, the usability requirements was implemented for class 1 medical devices. So now on, all medical devices are, they require the usability requirements, which is one of the updates. And also, newly, you can see the cybersecurity, because in the June of the 2022, they newly guided to they keep and the document cybersecurity requirements and any design file. So if you are applicable for the cybersecurity requirements, you need to the documents and design in terms of design and development. Also, the last item is the real-time aging study, which is also newly guided in June of 2022. Is this highly recommendation from the health authority to do the real-time aging study, even though we have already done for the accelerated aging study, but it is highly recommended by the health authority.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Just please go ahead and do the takeaways, but we do have 3 questions here.
No, it can be just the repeat again. So we can just skip this key takeaway.
Okay.
Just cover Q&A session.
Got it. So, well, thank you so much. And we will share the slide deck. And the question is the KGMP audit on site or is it computer based?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the KGMP audit, there are 2 types of audit, so desktop audit and on-site audit. So depending on the classification and type of the application, such as the initial audit, additional audit, change audit, and renewal audit, it's gonna be decided depending on the classification and the type of audit, type of applications.
So classification and depending on the type of.
Yeah.
The next question is for GMP submission, usually we need to submit the procedures in English for both legal and actual manufacturer, right? They said they heard that some companies receive the GMP without sending the SOPs.
Yeah, yeah, of course. The SOP can be submitted in English, as I mentioned. Because the applicants may be importer, and they summarize the submission file in the Korean, and the SOP and manual is gonna be submitted as the supporting document. So it can be submitted in English, of course, and we every SOP, all SOPs are not require submission, but there are some the section require the SOP, such as monitoring and measurement and monitoring the equipment control SOP or the process validation SOP, something like that. So some of the SOP are required for submission in English.
During the audit, does the applicant need to arrange for a translator, or English will be used for communication during the audit?
No, that's the difficulty for body manufacturers. So because the official language is Korean, so that's why the auditor they do the audit in Korean only. So every manufacturer should be prepare the translator during the audit.
Okay, so get the translator.
Yeah.
This one may be a little lengthier, but I'll ask nonetheless. Uh, the question is, do you know how long the on-site audit generally takes?
Yeah, the mandates are typically 3 days to the 5 days, but typically it takes about the 4 days. And if there is any the high risk medical devices, it takes about 5 days. So the 4 days or the 5 days takes.
Got it. So about a week. And then what are the common audit subjects? Do you know what typically they look for?
Sorry.
Maybe we can go to another one. The question is, and we're getting a lot of questions on this, so we'll keep answering, but we understand that we are going past our 10:30, our past 30 time. So if anybody needs to leave, we understand. How many inspectors can foreign manufacturers expect for on-site audits?
Yeah, it is also depending on the classifications and the type of audit, the type of application. But normally, if the notified body is only involved, only one the auditor are join, and also if the joint audit with notified body and MFDS regional office, it's gonna be the two peoples.
This is a good question. So if the physical manufacturer is an outsourced production, who would be audited? Would it be the outsourced production, or would it be the company, well, I guess legal manufacturer, but then if they're outsourcing their manufacturing, then how does it work?
Yeah, good question. That is the one of the complicated situation. So as I mentioned, as I explained about the manufacturing process. So if the from the outsourced company they do the process, the core manufacturing process, and then that the outsourcing the suppliers should be audited and should be, the manufacturer, physical manufacturer in the KGMP, even though there is some, the high level, the legal manufacturer. I to say just anyway, the actual manufacturing, the facility they do that they conducted the core manufacturing process will be audited and will be the manufacturer, so-called the physical manufacturer.
Another question is, could the on-site audit be done by TUV SUD or just by the authority?
No, just all audits are conducted by local notified body. But the TUV should are also recognized as the notified body for KGMP, but they, as far as I know, they don't do the business in Korea. So the four notified body they presented just before they do the audit only in Korea.
The other question, we have quite a lot of questions coming in, so that's good. Um, so, But so one of the questions is, can we refer once again on the table on which audit is required? Yes. So we will share we will definitely share the presentation here, the deck, and then you will have it with you. But another question is, if the importer has generic or predicate devices with KGMP certificates from the same physical and legal manufacturers previously, then would a change audit be applicable or a new audit be applicable?
As I'm not sure if I understand correctly, but if my understanding is that if there is the existing importers of the specific medical devices, and you are going to get the same GMP certification with a different importer, you of course you are should submit this application, even though because the GMP certification is granted set by set, the which consists of the legal manufacturer, physical manufacturer, GMP product category, and importer. So if one of the items is different, yeah, the different KGMP certification should be applied.
And we'll cover one last question. If parts of production process are outsourced to several different facilities, then will every single one of them need to be certified under KGMP? It's a good question.
There's the health authority and certified body, they're not gonna say every facility should be audited and everybody should be certified. And the applicant, maybe importer or the legal manufacturer, they should select choose one of the facility they do the core process. So the core process and critical process means that the manufacture the you can see, how can I explain? Yeah, so if do the shaping of the as like the finished product, that's gonna be the critical component. So for example, the simply just the final assembly process, that's gonna be core process, and the which the facility can be, yeah, the physical manufacturer, and also it can be the audited accordingly.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I hope everyone found this webinar valuable. We will be covering our next month's webinar, and the topic will be for another Asian market. So stay tuned, please. And again, if you have any suggestions on any additional topics you'd like for us to cover, we would be more than happy to take that into consideration and accommodate that. Once again, Stephen, thank you so much for your time and for this presentation and educating everyone on the KGMP requirements. And thank you, attendees, for participating. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.